Hi, I'm Terry Smith from Cooper Tyres. In this segment I'm going to talk about how to pick the right tread design for where you do most of your four-wheel driving, so your tyres don't end up badly chipped, or worse still a torn lug, or worse still a total separation and you get stuck on the side of the road. So how do you pick the right tread design to suit your four-wheel driving? Let me show you. Here are some various tread designs, all suitable for four-wheel driving. We've used Cooper's because of the extensive range, but what I'll show you is applicable to any brand of four-wheel drive tyre you may purchase. So let me start with what I like to call see-through treads. It's easiest to see on the highway terrain. What I'm talking about is these grooves running straight through the tyre, and the design is simple. It's to evacuate water through the tyre and out the back. It reduces aquaplaning, makes the tyre safer on seal roads in the wet. Now that design is also applicable to all-terrain tyres. You see we have the groove around the centre and again this big open groove in the shoulder. Now the design is again to get water through the tyre to reduce aquaplaning, but also to empty mud and dirt out of it for it to get forward traction and keep moving. Even in the most aggressive all-terrains you'll notice the big open groove around the centre, and again it's to evacuate water and to empty itself and get more traction off-road. The only one you won't see it in is the heavy traction tyres in any brand, and that's simply because there's so much void or empty space between the rubber that it gets the water out easily. Now what does it mean if you don't have those see-through treads in the tyres you're choosing? It simply means they're old technology and they're just not as effective. Now let's look at something else in the tread. The technical term for these little cuts in the treads are called sipes, and they're designed simply to squeeze water out from under the tyre on a wet, sealed road. However, if the sipes run right to the edges, they create these edges that break away or chip off really easily on dirt roads. It simply means they wear out faster. And this design is not just in highway terrains, but there's many all-terrains in the market that the sipes run right to the edges. Whereas the latest technology is this. This is an all-terrain. You notice it only has 3 sipes and 2 are internally within the block. Now that's to reduce the amount of edges, reduce the chipping, they simply last longer on dirt roads. If you go to a more aggressive all-terrain, they've reduced to 2 sipes, they zigzag but within the block. It means you maintain traction on greasy roads, but you reduce the chipping off-road. Of course, the most heavy traction tyres only have 1 sipe and within the block. And again, that's for less edges, less chipping, and they last longer on dirt. Now let's look at the shoulder design on these 2 all-terrains. One's round and one's sharp and square. Trouble is most manufacturers make one or the other. So let me explain the differences to you and you can decide which one suits your particular four-wheel driving. First of all, the round edge. Now if it has a round edge or shoulder on the tyre, it normally has a deep and a V-shaped groove in the face of the tyre. The reason is it's designed not to dig, but to empty itself and get traction by getting across the top. Makes it a very comfortable tyre, and for most people this tyre will give you plenty of traction to go wherever you want to go. It gets less uneven wear as it gets older, and it's great on those long blacktop sections. However, for those people doing more time on the dirt, this could be the tyre for you. This sharp square edge simply does give more traction. It bites below the surface, so if it's loose, muddy, loose rock, this tyre will certainly give you more traction. The sharp edge also adds that stability in those long, fast, cornering dirt road sections. Remember the trade-offs. More uneven wear as it gets older, more noise as it gets older, but nothing regular rotations won't fix. Both tyres do a fantastic job, just depends how much off-road you're going to do. Now let me tell you about the biggest secret in the tyre industry. It's tread depths. Most people won't talk about it, but I will. You may think that all tyres have the same tread depths, but they don't. Let me show you some examples. So why is tread depth important? Well, simply more grip on the road, especially wet seal roads, more traction off the road, and of course more mileage out of your tyres. If they've got more tread, they'll simply last longer. Now, the secret is manufacturers are really cutting back these days. And let's have a look at this original tyre fitted to a new four-wheel drive and start comparing the tread depths. Now let's look at this original tyre that comes with a new four-wheel drive, and we'll measure it in the lowest part of the tread, which is normally between the grooves running across the tyre. Okay, we've got just under 5mm of tread. Now let's compare to a good aftermarket highway terrain that fits on the replacement for the same vehicle. And measuring that in the same place, we have over 9mm of tread. So it's almost double the amount of tread compared to the original tyre. Now that's not restricted just to highway terrains. Here's an all-terrain tyre that's fitted to a new four-wheel drive. Let's measure that in the same place, which is the lowest part of the tread running across between the grooves. What have we got? 8.2mm. Now let's look at a good aftermarket brand again, measure it in the same spot, and we have nearly 10.5mm. So we've got about 20 to 30% more tread on that tyre. And if we go to the more aggressive all-terrains, what have we got? Well, 14 millimetres and up. So what's the right tread depth to have? Well, it's all about value. I think the simple rule of thumb is know what you're buying, check the tread depth against the price you're paying for the product and compare the different brands, and then you make the decision. Now, we've looked at the various tread designs. Which is the right one for you? Think about where you spend most of your time off-road. If you spend most of your time on the road with a bit of weekend beach work, light forestry tracks, the highway train will do the job fine. Just remember to pick a brand with a nice deep tread running across the tyre. Then the all-terrain with a round edge. That simply means it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's long-lasting, great for that long-distance driving, and for the bit more adventurous, regular four-wheel driving, it gets you plenty of traction to get you there and home again. Then there's the more aggressive all-terrain. It's got less siping, which means less chipping, simply lasts longer on consistent dirt road work. It's got sharp edges, that means a bit more digging, and especially more stability on those fast, long dirt roads in the cornering. For people spending all their time on the dirt road, or simply wanting more traction, meaning for mud, rocks, hills, this tyre simply gets less damage to the tread and lasts longer if used on dirt or off-road work consistently. So if you take all of that into consideration, next time you're buying four-wheel drive tyres, it really is important to make the right choice so you enjoy trouble-free four-wheel driving.